I'm making this video as an accountability journal for myself and hopefully to inspire other people to do it too. I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. For any new viewers, my name is Nick. I'm a licensed therapist and therapeutic coach, and today I'm doing something a little different. Now, I've struggled with my weight for almost all of my life. I've done yo-yo diets, crash diets, exercise programs, loads of different types of things, but I've never found the one thing that I've been able to stick to for a long time. I think part of the problem is that I'll get motivated to do very well for a few months, it'll work for a while, and I'll stop. For whatever reason, whether I get sick, whether it's the weather, stress, lack of motivation, holidays, whatever the reason, there always seems to be an end and I go back to normal. Over the years, I've learned a lot about what works for me and what doesn't. I've tried everything from calorie counting, crash diet, Slimming World, high carb, low carb, high fat, low fat, keto, carnivore. I've also tried a lot of different exercise programs, lifting weights, yoga, running, walking, and I've got a good idea of what works for me, just based on what I've enjoyed doing the most and what I've stuck to the longest. So, I'm making this video mainly for myself as an accountability journal. I know I need a reason beyond myself to stick to what I'm going to do, and having this information out in the public, I'm really hoping will keep me on track by providing weekly updates as to what I'm doing and the effect it's having. Well, one thing that has stuck is intermittent fasting. I'm not one of those fanatical people about all the supposed health benefits, but to me it just makes sense. You eat less calories, and the more weight you lose. But for me, it makes more sense to eat less by eating less meals rather than having less food in those meals and less snacks. I find it easier to just not eat rather than to eat less per meal. So I pretty much skip breakfast most days and I tend to eat around 12, 1 o'clock, but on its own that's not enough because it's really easy to overeat in the remaining hours and undo all that good work. So I am going to keep the intermittent fasting, but I'm going to extend it. I'm going to try doing one meal a day, or OMAD as the guys call it. I'm going to have that around mid-afternoon, I think, around 2 to 4 o'clock, and I'm going to try and have a really big-ish meal so that I really am full and don't need anything else the rest of the day, and it'll keep me sustained. As to what I'm going to be eating in that time, well, for me, it really works to have simple one-ingredient food. I've just come off a week of eating a lot of ultra-processed crap, and I feel like crap. I know it's not good for me, and I don't feel good when I eat it, but I do it anyway. I feel a lot better when I'm eating whole foods, in particular a really high meat diet. I've done carnivore a few times, and I found it relatively easy to stick to once I kind of get in the groove of doing it. I love meat, I love steak, chicken, lamb, pork, and it's really filling and really satisfying. I just need to make sure I eat enough that I'm not hungry again at night and end up snacking on something. Which brings me on to a really good point. A lot of health videos talk about, not having snacks in the house and making yourself better that way, but that's much easier said than done if there's kids in the house. It's not fair for me to take all the snacks away just to help me. So they're going to be in the house. And for me, if they're in the house and they're on display, it sets something off in my brain where I just can't stop thinking about it until I eat it. So all snacks are going to be locked away so that I don't have access to them. I'm hoping it's going to be an out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. So I'm going to be doing the intermittent fasting with a high meat, single ingredient diet. That's going to make up about 80%. Now the remaining 20% is going to be the exercise routine. And I've done a lot of different programs over the years, so I know what works for me. I say to all my clients, the best form of exercise is one you enjoy. For me recently, I've really enjoyed going rock climbing and bouldering. It feels more like a game than exercise. even though it gets my heart rate up really high and it works a lot of muscles and really sore. So I'm going to be doing that at least twice a week. As the nights are getting lighter, I'm going to be making a point of walking a lot more as well. I know the typical advice is around 10,000 steps a day, and with my remote office-based work, that's difficult to do naturally. So I need to intentionally go for walks every day. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to commit to 10,000 steps every day, no matter what it takes, no matter the weather as well. And I'm going to share the receipts on here to prove it. Now, walking, of course, is more than just the exercise. It's got great benefits. Being out in nature and sunlight, they're all exceptionally good for us. So I'm hoping this is going to have a big impact on my overall well-being. And the last piece of this puzzle is something I've gone back and forth on a lot, whether I need to do it or not. But it's something I've done over the years and I keep coming back to, and it's called DDP yoga. It was developed by an ex-professional wrestler called Diamond Dallas Page, and it does amazing work. It combines a lot of yoga, calisthenics, traditional strength training, puts them all together in some really easy to follow programs I've done on and off over the years and really enjoyed. And I could really do with upping my mobility and my flexibility. So I'm a big believer that if you are going to commit to something, you need to put your money where your mouth is. So I'm going to share on screen now. I've committed to a year's program, which I'm really hoping will help me keep on track. I'm going to do this 3 times a week, and I think in combination with everything else I've said, that's going to be enough. So there, I've done it, and I can't take it back. I'm hoping that by combining all these things that have worked for me in little pieces over the years and putting them together in one program, I'm finally going to be able to do what works for me in the long term and stick with it. I'm making myself accountable to everyone watching this, as well as people around me, which is a big reason for me to stick to something. As to how I'm going to measure it, I'm going to look at the scales, obviously, but that's not everything. I'm aware that things like carb bloat and water weight can be a big part in that, but it's still important. So I'm also going to be taking measurements once a month and taking progress photos once a month, and I'll share them on here as well. I'm going to be doing weekly update videos where I'll share what's gone right and if anything's gone wrong, and I'll show the receipts to keep myself accountable. If you're interested, please feel free to follow along and maybe even put together your own accountability journal and see what it's like. Feel free to like, subscribe and all that good stuff if you want to see the videos and how I'm doing. The more people who watch, the more accountable I'll have to be. Alright, that's enough for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.